Slapdash! Hey there, and welcome to Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Sunday Slap. My name is Sheep Launcher. I'm here with Deathlake. Our runners have gotten these flags about 30 minutes ago. They just got the seed rolled. It's going to be a fun fly by the seat of your pants kind of race on Sunday, like it always is. Deathlake, you've had a chance to take a quick look at these flags. What's most interesting to you?
No permadeath? I don't know. I just see a lot of moon. I see moon words, even though boss hunts with moon bosses are always a fun check. Because who doesn't want to go looking in the bowels of Free Enterprise, where they can be hiding anywhere beyond behind 50, probably two or three different rabbit holes.
Yeah, it's a good thing we have all these moon objectives. The 4 objectives: conquer the vanilla crystal sword altar, conquer the vanilla white spear altar, that's the plague spot, defeat Pale Dim, defeat the Lunars. You got to do them all to win the game. So no Z tonight, so this gives our runners a reason to visit the moon in the first place. We have a starting Fu, and we have Vanilla Fusoya on, so this will be a very quick start. Fusoya will start at level 50 with all of his spells.
Yeah, who doesn't like a Fu? Unless you have all the Fus, in which case then you have a lot of cleaning up to do. That's I love Fu, and then he's certainly the most versatile mage caster. But we have to remember his limited MP pool is what limits his potential. And it's fine. You're gonna probably hope for another spellcaster to help to give him some relief. So I'm not.
Here's the thing.
We're not having that, are we?
Well, we could look for a Quake kit or something like that, but the MP glitch is on. One of those glitches that you don't see often. So if our runners are familiar with the MP glitch, they can overflow Fu's MP and basically give him unlimited MP. It's most often used with Tel in the vanilla game, but you can do it with Fu as well. No reason not to. Our runners, by the way, Saradin and Judge Joe. We have our restreamer Smapety. We have our tracker Dubward, and it looks like we are underway. We're glad to have you with us.
Lovely. We get the legend, which is okay. Whatever. But Val. So yeah, Fu not as effective. Although I'm not sure about that spot. There's a lot of spots where Val in spin form is essentially the spinstress who avoids all the magic, but there are some spots where not this time. So we're not sure about this spot, but in most cases you might want to find someone punchy to at least you need at least a 5 attack multiplier to eat through her evasion, which in her special case, where the game scripts her agility chains, actually takes into effect, whereas most monsters have no evasion.
And luckily there is a Cecil and there is a Kane, at least theoretically, available. Max Party 4, something for our runners to keep in mind. No free characters on, but if they feel like if the Baron Key is gating something, they might start looking in those character spots for somebody who could punch. But it looks like our runners are setting up that spell list for Fu. We'll see if anybody wants to overflow the MP. And it looks like a Porum, I believe, and that's a Sparkle guarding.
Hey,
and those are the D-Lunars. This is required.
Yeah, it should be easy enough. You have Fu's full spell list, so enough. It shouldn't be too much, especially at this spot where there's just 2 Baron guards normally. Well, they don't have low HP, so these D-Lunars don't have much HP either, and again, more sparkles.
That is a plague. It would have been amazing to have half the game done in 2 minutes, but no such luck. Only a quarter of the objectives done in 2 minutes.
Well, unless it gives darkness at this spot, which it doesn't. But that's it. You can only will a jet seed into existence, right? Or you will them out just as well. Yeah, it's Porum will be. I think we'll probably yeet Porum if we have time. But right now, it's not that excited. But it says it's something, and especially with any of the white mages, once you have access to the heroine robe, then you're not so worried about having needing a Cecil in the immediate future. You need someone to do some work occasionally with a bonking weapon or some bow and arrow, which is the most common power usage of a mage these days.
Oh, and Ed Nunn is on, so free characters are on, and that is another Porum and another Tella, and that means the Edward is holding a key item in the bed.
Yeah, yes, no Demas boss hunts. That's a plus, right? No Demas. It's a good time. The one thing is there's no dupes, so the extra Porum not gonna be. We're not gonna create another. Not gonna be replaced. So yeah, that's a good thing. I think that was a vanilla trap, was it? No, it's not this. No, that's a drain spear, but not in the right. That's not in the vanilla spot.
So vanilla traps is on. The traps won't have their vanilla items because K trap is on. And with this full-powered Fu, Judge Joe heading right to Eblan Castle to see what key items are lurking in the trap chests here, and he knows precisely where everything is.
Yeah, it's worth doing Eblan chests pretty early, especially with a Fu. He just dominates them with a quake.
He got a tiara out of that. Porum's gonna love that.
But she's taking a nap. I might not even want the Porum, but I'd rather have her upright and getting some XP. That's just because we want that early berserk, and definitely exit. Although everyone else can cast exit, so it doesn't even matter if she learns exit.
Yeah, you have double exit cast right out of the gate. Getting exit on her doesn't matter. Edward had the hook in the bed, so that'll be a way underground.
One would have to ask the question, how does Edward have the hook? It's a big thing. Oh, that's a twin harp, so we might have some music early, so yay!
There found a ninja hat in the Troya sub-treasury. If a physical fighter comes along, that could be useful. Edge is allowed, and See Relaxed is on.
I think it's not so important that it's on a fighter. The ninja has just an agility manipulation, so if we need it for some reason to manipulate the anchor's agility, especially in this instance where we have a hero, but we also have vanilla agility. Vanilla agility overrides hero, so that means we're gonna if a Cecil decides to appear, he will control agility. In the event that Cecil's not available, it will default to party order, which means the middle spot, etc.
And so the hero flag is on. What does that mean if agility manipulation is kind of controlled by the vanilla agility?
It's just Cecil default. It's really just an override for hero. So hero agility means the hero, whoever is the hero, is the agility anchor, but vanilla is just the override. So Cecil will control, but right now Fu is in the middle spot, so Fu is going to be the agility anchor. At least assuming if they keep their Fu in the middle.
And as Chad pointing out, and what I was really going for was, it still means that Fu has to do the ordeals fight by himself. He's a big boy, he can handle it. and it means that the supersmith, that Kokol forges a weapon just for Fu, because the supersmith flag is on.
Yep. It's a for Fu. It's actually kind of interesting since neither Fu or Tella in vanilla have access to have a Final Fantasy IV Advance super weapon. They will share the twins' weaponry for their supersmith weapon, which is kind of nice. But does he really need the supersmith weapon? Does he?
The old man is taking weapons from babies. That's the quintessential evil behavior.
But he's a mop. How does that happen? Is he just a mechanical Roomba that we just didn't know had to exist in a timeline?
So we've got Diverge and Saradin heading into the Antlion cave. Kind of seems like small potatoes with this party loaded for bear already. Did pick up a cane in the watery pass, by the way. Judge Joe, meanwhile, being the hero of the people, has that twin harp. Figures he might as well go and make use of it, and is heading into Cave Magnus.
Yeah, it's like, and people like their memes. Some people like to fade harp. Some people like to fade Antlion. So, sometimes it doesn't pay off. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, personally speaking, it's you can only fade things that make sense that you really don't want to do. These are just meme worthy because okay, so what? It's Antlion. It's hard. It's not a strong spot. Maybe it's fine. It's one thing. But if you were to fade like package, where where we still have a boss hunt, and things could be awkward, where the key item you need is in that spot. Well, things happen.
Well, Saradin did get a piece of Hanzo's steel, but Judge Joe will get the real prize, which is a tune from Edward. Play it for us, Bard.
Yes, let's listen into the randomized harp music.
So another one of the jerky things that Golbez does is Golbez will just interrupt the harp music.
Yeah, that's part of his script. So once the real battle begins, more change in music because Golbez. It's a pretty rude spot to be in because it's practically near maximum magic defense, which makes a lot of spells outside of nuke very it doesn't hurt. He tickles himself, and this time around, well, we have a Fu with nuke ready, so no problems there.
So luckily with any other party or with the food challenge flag on, that would have been really bad. Judge Joe gets the crystal for getting through it. Meanwhile, Saradin, defending Fabul, got the vanilla gauntlet. I did not see what he earned for...
It's a crystal. It's a crystal.
Well, Judge Joe got the crystal. Saradin got something for defending Fabul. I didn't see what it was.
I don't remember seeing. I remember seeing the regular gauntlet, full vanilla in effect, and well, there's an edge on the. It's on the edge on the mountain,
and that edge will replace the trader. Chat informing us, including our very intrepid tracker Dubword47, that it was a different kind of crystal, a crystal sword for defending Fabul. Cecil is available in this. There are only 7 distinct characters, but a pool of 9. Cecil is in that list. We've seen 5 characters so far. It's possible one of the other 2 could be Cecil, in which case that crystal sword would be worth hanging on to.
We see a cloak, and it's our favorite Mylon.
That's French vanilla, Mylon Z, which means the purple cloak we saw on Mount Hobbs is Mylon and Friends.
Yep, Mylon and Friends. That lovely, and at least, and I guess I think it was up Tella on that spot too. Yes. And we already have Tella, so we've seen Tella all over the place.
And no dupes, so it's absolutely not essential. Blarg!
It's always a bad time for. It's a bad time for a Blarg.
So, Saradin actually getting a couple turns off because Wyvern in the back attack spot will hesitate a little bit, and he who hesitates is lost as Wyvern crumbles away.
Yeah, usually when there's a back attack, you start with an empty ATB, so in the monster gets a chance. The monsters get a chance to go first. So the only way to balance that is to make Wyvern do nothing, just for its very first turn, and then it will do its traditional Blarg, based on its agility. So usually having your anchoring situation set up properly is a key component in surviving a Wyvern in any spot.
Judge Joe, meanwhile, everything moving so fast because a vanilla foo to start really opens a lot of doors for you. Judge Joe got an adamant, and I didn't see whether that was in Castle Eblan or whether that was in the Flame Dog chest, but as soon as Judge Joe wants to go underground, he's got a foo weapon waiting for him.
That's a good time. Maybe hoping for a Porum weapon, because we have a Porum. We also have a Tella, so that doesn't. We'll see that comes to. There should be. Though a lot of the twins weapons typically are kind of like glorified staffs of rods, whichever, whatever. Just stat sticks.
So Deathlike, we've seen a pretty blazing start from both of our runners so far. If you're running this race and you have a start like this, do you think about maybe diving the hook route early, seeing if you can muscle through that and really try and get an edge on your opponents, or are you concentrating on clearing out the overworld here?
I think you need there's an urgency to find the darkness crystal, so I think it may be. I think it's worth doing. You want you have when you have the early access, you might as well do it immediately. It just seems like you get a free key item at the very minimum, and maybe try to get a pen, not to spend too much extra time in Fabul. So it's not like you can't do any of the early overworld checks easily. So you might as well. You have Foo, and Val's that we already know Val's in the Bygone spot in Baron Castle. So can't be that. And we've already done Mr. Ha 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 himself. I mean, what's left is Wyvern's out of the table. There aren't too many bosses at the Ruby spot that are gonna devastate you, and even if there's like a nasty Dark Knight Cecil in the King Queen Ebla spot, it's like you have free reign really over the seed.
Yeah, there are really only 3 bosses in those 2 spots that I can think of that would really give this party, especially Saradin's party, any trouble, and that's Dark Knight Cecil, that's Kainatsu, and that's Ogopogo. Otherwise, I think either of these parties can blast right through, and even Kainatsu and Ogopogo might not be that difficult.
Yeah, when you have Nuke, you need to lead off before he even gets a wave. Kainatsu's wave, like you've done most of the work, unless Kainatsu's like on the moon at a really nasty spot where you'd have to chew up a lot more HP to avoid damage. I'm not usually not concerned, especially with a Fu, unless it's like if it was like a Val, I'd think a little bit. I'd think twice for sure. Oh, there it is. Burr verification there.
Saradin thinking about what to do next, and might be rechecking the flags to see if K-Trap is in fact on. That Drain Spear was the first trap chest he checked. And he's going... Also, he might be checking to see if vanilla traps are on.
Yeah, and it definitely is. We know the spots are well known. It's better when, at least for the runners, in the runner's favor, when you know where the trap chests are. That means you can raid all the other chests, without being harassed, and it's a good thing. You have given that I think T-Wild sparse at 60%, so a little more than half the treasure chests are in play. So it's certainly worth checking. Although I think it seems like while it is. I guess we're not gonna check for a while. We're just gonna go for the gold with the good stuff, which is always trap chests. Usually have the good stuff.
Judge Joe did pick up that edge from Ordeals. Judge Joe rocking 3 characters for a long time with free characters on.
Yeah, I would certainly keep the edge. There was a Kane earlier. I would have yeeted. I would have yeeted like Tella outright. It's just that'd be my pick, but or maybe a Porn because you already have a lot of white magic. But although I think capacity of white magic is more. Although we have the magic glitch that we can go take advantage of if we wanted to. So I'd still prefer the white. I'd still prefer like the Porum because you never know if you need more MP on the table. Like Zeromus will. The Zeromus fight will kind of fix that bug because it restores HP to maximum, which will revert the MP bug.
So life potions are not for sale, which with anybody except a full-powered Fu could be a little hairy. Certainly not going to be an issue, at least for a little while. There won't be ready access to life potions. And also because this is win game when you complete all 4 objectives, the fact that there aren't sirens for sale is also not really an issue.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an edge, so you can steal them. It's not like I don't think we've removed sirens. No, or unless we remove sirens altogether. And in that case, there are still plenty of grind spots that don't demand that kind of don't demand sirens. I mean, we could do Giant if we really, really wanted to do D machines. And vanilla Giant isn't on, so we can leave at our if we really wanted to. Interesting choice of Saradin to kind of do with this Zot 1, which is not something.
Saradin just went up to the Flame Dog chest, did not check Zot 1, and neither did Judge Joe, even though there's a boss hunt still on the table. Would it be too mean to say, what if that pale dim was there?
It can be, and it would be mean to ask for that. Sure, I mean, if your objective is Zot 1, there is often a feels bad moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, he's been here the whole time. I didn't have to do anything extra. And Zot 1 is not and in Free Enterprise, Zot is a kind of special where if you've done vanilla, Zot just in general is a gated thing. You need the Earth Crystal to access it. But in Free Enterprise, we give you full access without the Earth Crystal, and you are able to do Zot 1 without penalty. But Zot 2 will still, where you need to give up the Earth Crystal to do the rest of the objective. Well, that still requires the Earth Crystal.
Yeah. Speaking of a feels bad moment, when you march up Zot and then forget that you still don't have the Earth Crystal, and whoever's at the Golbez spot says, "Hand me the Crystal of the Earth, then we'll talk." That's always fun.
Well, it's kind of not vanilla if you think about it. The game assumes you already have it, and I guess we are at that time where we get a short repeat of more harp music.
Of Butterfly from DDR3. Enjoy.
Sad music, sad bar noises.
Our wonderful restreamer Smafety had it all the way. There's another piece of vanilla, as Edge is in the path of Cave Eblan. Antlion is in the Ruby spot. Could be a bit concerning, not for this party.
No, but Antlion normally makes its journey to the moon. What gives?
Meanwhile, Judge Joe did find in the Staleman chest a pink tail. And next time Judge Joe is in the area, he'll have an adamant armor. He figures his party is so loaded already, he doesn't need to go get that adamant right now.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want it, but it's like this is out of the way. When you get maybe it's usually more convenient once you get the rat tail, where it's going to be worth your time to do both at the same time while you're at it. You know, that's the convenience check, as they say. And I did actually kind of think about it a little bit. You know, there's a few bosses that change the music. Like Golbez happens to be one of them, but you have to remember Dr. Luge, second form, and the dolls. And all those bosses are vanilla underground. I wonder if they're just the secret like DJ Underground that is not pro Edward.
I guess it's confirmed that Edward is not part of the underground music scene.
No, unfortunately. So it looks like.
Well, the other one that changes the music there, maybe ironically, is Dark Elf.
Well, yeah, that's vanilla, of course. Dark Elf himself.
Yes.
In his own palace. Yes, I mean, it's conspiracy. It's all about the underground music. That's what it is.
So, Saradin did find long swords for sale in the Eblan weapon shop. Even though I believe he already has a piece of Hanzo steel, it's better than the short swords he was rocking. Money, by the way, not an issue. One of the kits was a random kit. It turned out to be a 99 kit, and the item that was 99 of, cat claws.
Yeah, cat claws. Well, we don't. It's not a Yang start, but I think it still has some value and a lot more value probably than the vanilla. It's certainly worth. It's worth selling it off because we're not. It's not Punchy Seed, unfortunately.
Nailed him in the King Queen Eblan spot. This is an objective, and Judge Joe is going to nuke. And that's it.
See, it's the great thing about certain the boss hunts is if it's in your path, it's great. It's only when it's off the traveled path where that then becomes a pain in the rear. And
it would have been nice if the Flame Dog chest had a magma key, and then then it wouldn't be literally standing on your only way underground.
Yeah, underground. And a lot of people prefer the hook route. Well, at least commentators would prefer the hook route because of the more interesting nature. But runners would prefer magma key because who wants to deal with hook route? Who wants to deal with who's ever at the Rubicon spot? It's convenience versus it's a known road that you must travel. So it's, which I think when we get to play more of the beta flags, that we can actually force that actual behavior, which is kind of cool. Which we don't have that kind of power in the current non-beta flags.
Soon, young Padawan. Soon. Antlion crumbles away, and Judge Joe is underground through the hook route just after half an hour.
Yeah, it's already becoming Fu and Friends, as you can see. We don't everyone said Fu is alive. That's all that matters. That's why he is the mob. Who cares if he's the man on the moon? He's a mob.
Come on and come to the place where Nuke never ends. Come on in, it's time to party with the old mop and friends.
Old mop and friends.
And pay attention, there'll be a test at the end.
This is the one where the crystal key item does not matter.
And that's why you saw Saradin reset out of it when that was the reward for the Twin Harp Cave.
Who thought there would be crystals in a crystal room?
Alright, so since K-Trap is on, Keyless Tower becomes an even more appealing play. We know, Deathlike, from working together, that Keyless Tower is always the play, every single time. But since there are 4 trap chests in Tower of Babel, the Keyless Tower has to be looking even more appealing.
Yeah, I would look to go there first. I would probably still do the quick Fey March check to see if I want to punish myself, or just to at least get the free item and then see what kind of horrors there could be there. Although I guess looks like Judge Joe wants to do dwarf first. Looks like one of the guards could be Baron guards with the pair, or the ones that you would see at the Kaipo guards. Those are, and we know it's Baron guards because
Yep, if it was the Kaipo guards, there would be 4 of them dancing there. They show us all of their dancers. Just the Baron guards might be an issue with other parties because this spot hits surprisingly hard. With this party, no trouble at all.
Yeah, they're both in the front row when you consider, and they are just regular monsters, so they don't have the boss bit. Yeah. And although if we have the flag that turns the flags on, those they become more interesting foes for sure.
Well, Judge Joe using the Bob Dylan approach to them, where everybody must get stoned. A blue robe in the second spot, we know that's a water hag, and another Tella.
Insert Spider-Man meme here, but the big problem with the missing in the water hag is it actually does not count to move on things. Water hag special in the there's a counter script to kind of do all the wonderful of kind of like scripted scenes, but you actually have to hit. You can't be like Tele-Life where you can't smash, you can't bonk your way to victory. So you must sometimes seeing that is that's funny. You see Fu missing, but Tella doesn't. It's a mystery to everyone.
Yes, and that's why it's sometimes quicker with your mages to cast a level 1 spell than seeing if they'll hit with the stick.
Although level 1 spells have a delay, what can happen is you see an instant cast spell to go off and just deal the damage and then call it a day.
Warp glitch is on, so Judge Joe will try and get 2 key items for the price of 1.
What if it's vanilla? That's what I want to know. Is it vanilla darkness?
Luca wearing a life staff around her neck.
Hey, sticks on a chain, man. Sticks on a chain.
And getting the earth crystal.
See, there's a actual crystal on the altar. I mean, it's kind of vanilla. It's not French vanilla exactly, but that's what they're for. A crystal room has a crystal. What can I tell you?
I mean, it's one of the 4 crystals of the above ground. It's not one of the 4 crystals of the below ground.
Hey, crystals can be anywhere.
It's like, I wouldn't say it's French vanilla. I'd say it's like butter pecan. And Judge Joe will head down. We'll probably do the warrior's chest on his way down here, but there is a key item in the Fey March. He won't even need to check the summon monster spots. Absolutely nothing there for him. In case you joined us late, 3 key item is on, so no demist hunt, and both of the boss hunts that our runners have to do have already completed. And the key items are only in the main spots and in trap chests.
Yeah, we've already found our bosses essentially on the way to doing everything else, so it's not. And it's the key that you don't need because we don't even need the boss hunt. Great. I mean, we've got the warp glitch. It's well known, at least, but if you're not aware, the reason for the warp glitch is that that spot there because we're trying to save space in a game that is in a cartridge. You have to find creative ways of saving space. The kind of like the dwarf entrance and the warp sealed cave, they point to the same crystal room. So, which means that when the warp crystal, when we are warping from the throne back into the crystal room, it's the same spot as if it were the sealed cave. Although it doesn't. But when you leave it, it comes back to the throne room. So it's kind of creative when you consider how old this game is. Where the way of saving space is to, reuse a lot of the same materials and code that you already have.
So the one good thing about the Luca key in that spot is it gets Judge to 9 key items. And even though EXP is not going to be all that important, every little bit helps, and you get double the EXP when you hit 10 key items.
Yeah, it's a nice thing, especially when you're grinding. And that's a Palom weapon for Fu. This is the only time where mops get a knife attachment. That's that's in the manual, right? Mops get knives attachment? Something? Sure.
Fusuya is a blade man. He's coming for you to chop you in two. Fusuya is a blade man. He's coming to town to chop your whole family down.
I wish I knew where that theme came from.
You actually don't. You don't wish that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Looks like Judge Joe is going for the dense key item check of the Scythe's Cave, which is it's an interesting decision. At this point I don't fault anyone for going this route. It's kind of when you're digging deep for key items, this is definitely a dense place. Although I mean, if you were to do something like a time saver, maybe you would probably do the tower checks. Just doing that. Although maybe this is for the equipment. I mean, we're getting pretty decent stuff. I mean, Sorcerer World is pretty sweet. I mean, you get lightning resistance, undead resistance, and probably that is not something that animate armor has a lot more magic defense. Well, at least magic evasion than say the White Robe, which is kind of cool.
So the good thing about the Sylph Cave on K-Trap is it's very dense. You get 6 opportunities for a key item in one room, and when you have Fu, you get to kill all these enemies pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah, it's essentially Quake. It's Quake Kid friendly. So Fu is like Quake Kid, aged quite a bit. So Quake saves a lot of time for any runner. That's why Fu is pretty invaluable for anything. Until you've done your grind and Fu comes in way too late. Sometimes the mop isn't as useful. But when you get it early, you will use them early and often.
Joe picks up his 10th and 11th key items, a rat tail and package.
I think we might do the rat tail check immediately. We'll do the Toad Lady, that's right, before we go.
Toad Lady, and while you're down here, you might as well check out what Young has to say.
I think he's kind of speechless, though. I mean,
he's not going to say much, but then Sheila might say something.
Yeah, I think there's some loud noises that's involved. Picking up Ether 2s are pretty good. I think they're much more potent than the Ether 1, even though they cost more. But you have to think about it in terms of how fast you can gobble that down. Like an Ether, you come to use it more than one time. Depends on what you're doing, of course. So and
it's a good thing to spend your money on. It's not like you're short of money. It's not like you're scrimping to save pennies. So Ether 2 is a very good investment when you got the cash to splash.
Doesn't look like JoJo has sold the initial cap class, which is that didn't need to, but it's like it's taking up inventory space, and you know the inventory boss is lurking at any point.
Well, 99 cat claws takes up the same amount of space as one cat claw.
Unless you split them up, and then somehow they all get split up, and then becomes a mess. Because it becomes your room, and then becomes storage space, and then that's why the big chocobo exists.
It is always nice to look in your inventory and see a Gretzky of something. That's what I always say.
Alright, so I think... okay, we're doing the trading now. I think, yeah, we're gonna trade in our tails, hope for something useful. Although it would be a sheer troll just to see a magma key, because magma key.
That would be fun. But it won't be a reset because Judge Joe will get an adamant out of this. And even though there has been nothing to stand in the way so far, you're not going to turn down an adamant. And here's a troll for you. That's a Zeus Gauntlet. Zeus Gauntlets are for sale in Cookle's shop. And I don't think Judge Joe knows that yet.
Hey, it's free. It's for things. Hey, sometimes in a randomizer, things you buy end up something you pick up, and vice versa. It's one of those things. But it didn't really pay out in terms of key items. But looks like we're gonna do the Sheila 1 check because hey, we're in the neighborhood. This is what routing and neighborhood checks. Sometimes it just saves time. Sometimes it's convenient, and you'll remember it better.
And then after this, Judge Joe really has two choices, it seems to me. Judge Joe does have that tower key, so the tower check, that's 4 trap chests and 2 key item checks, or could take on the Tower of Zot, which is much less likely to pay off.
The tower checks look a lot more appealing just because the tower, you have the tower key, so you're not going to do keyless tower, and unless you really want to be super cheeky, not go all the way to the top. Like you do the key minus top of the tower check. Yeah, instead. It isn't a thing, but it could be a thing.
And Saradin is heading right for that tower. Going to equip Edge with his newfound power shirt. And so these runners, pretty much evenly matched. It's going to be, and we have 8 runners in total. So there are 6 of them off stream. But between Saradin and Judge Joe, it's really going to come down to where that darkness crystal is and who finds it first.
Yeah, when you look at objectives, and you always have to see, is there a key item gating that check? So a lot of flag sets typically are, key item checks ultimately, and sometimes they're all boss hunts, which changes how you think of it. But you usually have to think of key items in terms of what do I need to get full access to the seed, and once you get the key item, then it's all go mode. We know what we want, and definitely.
The only decision left, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, the only decision left is if you find a key item that's gating more key items, a pan, a Baron key, you already have the Earth Crystal. Do you run and chase that, or do you stay and finish up the tower? And the smart play is going to be finishing up the tower, but is the exciting play, is the daring play going to pay off, and is somebody going to dare it?
So it is worth gambling once in a while, save some time. This magma key here, yeah, of course. Like in this tower, it probably, if you get the item you think is going to unlock everything, if it's required in the seed, then you should definitely do what you need to do with. But there are just instances where more Hanzo steal. There are instances where you can gamble and it can pay off. It just makes sure that you realize that you recognize if you've won or lost a race based on that decision. Especially this, even though this is kind of was considered early, but this is kind of late because we have a foo and things move really quickly with a foo. So I would. In this instance, you could, unless it's not a darkness crystal, you want to be safe. The safest place to do everything while you're here. The gamble is when you just like, I need to save time. Just hope for the best. I mean, sometimes people can do that when they have had early struggles. I need to save time. Gotta just do this now. Hope it's the solution to make up that time difference. So,
well, it is academic now. All 4 trap chests were found. None of them led to a gating key item. Ashura guarding the cannon, Leviathan guarding the top of the tower. So it's a husband-wife team up in the tower today, and so Judge Joe making the slightly different play. Going for the top of the tower first. Top of the tower gives you the key item right when you defeat the boss. So if this is a darkness crystal, this might save a little bit of time. But the cannon key item doesn't appear until after you leave the tower. So unless this is a darkness crystal, Judge Joe is going to have to go into that cannon room eventually.
Yeah, so I just have to double check the settings. So it says K main and K trap. So wherever the key item is, it has to be here on the Earth, whether it's on the underground or on the overworld. And it's gotta be one of these two that will give you the key. Even if it's not darkness, it'll probably be like the Baron key or Pan, which you'll have to follow anyways. So and then sure, WAP.
Crystal's also out there. And Earth Crystal, neither runner has checked that Earth Crystal yet.
I think at this point it'd be just out of the way. This is right now, because you have to do. I think one of them has not done the Flame Dog chest, so that would be just. Oh, so let's just be the boss at that point, and it's just out of the way. Is it worth your time, kind of deal? I mean, you've already wasted time doing the Zot 1 check, or at least the Flame Dog chest. So it becomes just kind of like you want to do the most dense. Ideally, you want to try to get most of the checks out of the way.
Right. Well, yeah, and if nothing comes out of the tower, then it's the only way forward for both of these runners.
Yeah, and where did we get the Earth Crystal again? It's been sometime in the seed.
That was from the sealed cave, from the warp glitch.
Yeah, and we also have access to the Luca key. So even though, this is kind of reverse after the fact. This is Luca key was from this tower, so it's we don't have. At least we didn't have to do. We don't have to do the sealed cave, which is a major plus.
It really is. No reason to go into the sealed cave at all. It literally does not matter who the boss is.
They're essentially following each other at this point.
They are neck and neck. Yeah. Saradin's going to get out of the tower slightly quicker. Saradin has not done the Sheila check. That's where Joe has fallen behind. But
could be a time.
Joe was a check ahead of Saradin for much of the last 20 minutes. But Saradin has caught up and surpassed Joe. And Saradin gets the pan.
Of course. This is one of those, you get punished. Sometimes you get a chain that you get punished where instead of you would have kind of already double dipped, kind of triple dipped. You'd rather have a double dip, worst case in size cave, because you have to do both the treasure checks. There's the 6 dense treasure chests is a one-way trip, so that's an automatic one-way.
So Saradin's going to at least do the Toad Lady chest, and that might push Judge Joe back in the lead. Judge Joe has already taken care of all the chests down here. Saradin has not.
There wasn't a key item here, right? So there wouldn't.
There was the package, there was the rat tail.
The rat tail only led to the Zeus gauntlet, so
That's right.
Yeah, that's so right now. So basically, anything here, even though they're are key items, are not worth your time and not. So this is definitely Saradin's time save will definitely net him something. If it's not the Baron key, from Sheila 2, then well, it has to be Baron key, right? Yeah, it has to be. Because it has to be.
Well,
no, it's Earth. Oh, it's Earth. There's also Earth, so it could be.
It's also the Earth Crystal.
So, the rabbit hole that we might have to that has to exist, be available would be the Baron key. So that will probably divert them quite a bit, at the very least.
Well, while we ponder what that rabbit hole might be, we have a first place finisher. Dragus has finished in first place with a time of 52:18. GG's to Dragus. And that is a darkness crystal from Sheila, Judge Joe's, and Go Mode.
That was Pan Sheila 2, right? For
the second Sheila check.
Well, gotta check everything. So yeah, the free. Sometimes the order things where you do, the order in which you do things can save you or waste time. So in this case, Judge Joe is the beneficiary here.
And Judge Joe knows that there is a first place finisher. He will, you would have to imagine, be sprinting straight to the Crystal Sword altar, the White Spear altar. Won't bother to grind or do anything like that. Maybe get an item or two if he needs it, but otherwise will be on his way straight to the moon.
Yeah, so based on what we know, then it must be that Earth Crystal has the Baron key, which would have been a fruitless chain. For this seed, it would be the big rabbit hole time sink.
Saradin going to drop off the hovercraft and actually get his adamant armor now. I don't believe he has the rat tail.
Yeah, given what we know, this is not a big deal. I mean, you want the adamant, and you might need it for that one boss that might punish you. I don't know what boss would that be, but you can never tell what that would be. And I guess Fu gets all the good stuff today.
You know, when you got it, you gotta flaunt it.
But still, mop with a knife. Mop with a knife. I don't. Mop with a knife attachment.
Oh man, we need to do another old-timey McDonald's commercial with "Mop the Knife" as a theme song.
I don't know. The only thing, the last catchy tune from McDonald's is that Filet-O-Fish thing. That was, yeah.
Well, it's certainly true that Fu with the knife is going to be filleting some fish, especially if Kainatsu is at the White Spear altar.
Yeah, given that, with the first place finisher, this is what, not too long ago. This should be fairly quick, given another 5 minutes tops, maybe. I have no idea. I don't never measured it, but this shouldn't be too long for our runners to finish this seed.
No. And remember, there is no Z fight tonight. This is win game. Part of the fun of the Sunday Slapdash. You don't know until right before you play the seed whether you need all the objectives to get the crystal or to win the game. Tonight, Z's got the night off.
Cool fun fact: when Z has the night off, you can show up and do a few different things in the Z room. So, worth checking out, and the surprise is great for people who've not seen it.
So there are 7 distinct characters in this flag set. The maximum party you can have is 4. There are no dupes. So we have seen Edge, Porum, Fu, Tella,
Kane,
And Kane, yeah. So there are 2 others out there somewhere in the Giant and Baron, maybe.
Zot.
Maybe. And Zot. They may be out there. See, maybe is also on, so. But our runners are going to be rocking 4 characters.
Yeah, the good thing about maybe, they maybe will give you something new. Maybe, we're not. Maybe.
You know, I'm going to Baron, and this is crazy, but I'll recruit you, because it's C maybe.
Yes, I could actually play that in my mind, and it's alright. It's okay.
Well, it's a good thing it's only an hour seed, right?
And we get Squid.
So this spot will punch a lotl, but will slow down as soon as you can get a couple of hits off of it.
Yeah, I think it's so Octomammoth changes form, I think first 3 and then 2 after, every 2 after, which is nice. So it's predictable, and slow, I believe, stacks on top of it. So if you're struggling, slow is always a good spell to use on any boss you're struggling. When you are already at this point where the seed is a cakewalk, don't use slow. You don't have to use slow. It's actually slow would actually take more time to cast than nuking it or punching it to death. So yeah.
And that adamant armor really doing work. I believe Judge Joe put it on Edge. Edge taking these shots like it's nothing, and serving up some sushi.
Good thing in Berserk. Adamant. The good thing about Adamant is it does not resist Berserk. It resists float, but you can still cast float outside of battle to apply it. It's not like the one thing Adamant is still not good at doing is magic defense. Yeah, you get a nice 20 points of magic defense, but the value, especially in this game relative to a lot of the other Final Fantasies, is that magic defense, the hard value you don't get a lot of it. Like, they give you a lot of that in the advanced part, but in this game it's not as useful as you'd think. So it's magic evasion, and the multiplier is more important and where you should be focusing on, especially for a Z fight, which we are not having.
Saradin going to that White Spear altar. Going to see who it is. Dark Imps. Free.
Yeah, this seed is tailor-made for the mop in charge.
Fu made the seed his own. When you start with a vanilla Fu, the world is your oyster, or in this case, maybe the world is your octopus. And we'll see if Judge Joe can finish in second place here. He's right on the cusp.
You can say that Fu likes to mop the floor with them.
He is really cleaning up this seed.
A lot of rocks. A lot of rocks.
And gets the defense sword and has to click through. Gotta press, there it is. Judge Joe finishes in second place with a time of 1 hour, 33 seconds. GG to Judge Joe, finishes in second place in the Sunday Slapdash.
Yeah, GG's there. That was something. That was faster than some mop up. Some mop up duty, man. Mop up duty.
Yes. We'll see if we can get Judge Joe in for an interview. Meanwhile, coming in third place, Harumph with a time of 1:01:09. GG to Harumph.
Yeah, GG's to everyone running this. It's this is a pretty nice seed, to say the least. I mean, early Edge is paying off because Edge scales a lot better than Kane when you get the weapons, and there's a lot of Hanzo steel. Like, I thought there's plenty of Masas all over the place. So I mean, who can say no to Hans this year?
Exactly. Well, certainly not Judge Joe, who joins us now, who finished in second place. GG's Judge Joe. Having a food to start, kind of a vanilla food to start, really makes life easy, huh?
Yeah, I looked at the flags at the beginning and went, give me a starting food for Wario. Because it was K-Main, K-Trap, vanilla food.
Don't need a whole lot else, and in fact, you rocked 3 characters for a long time. You didn't even check any of the free characters early on.
They weren't gonna help me.
I mean, you have the food. There's like, what characters? You mean just bodies on the field at that point, right?
Yeah, like for the moon fights, they could help, but by that point, I'll figure out what I need to do, theoretically.
So it seemed like everything was moving a million miles an hour. Was there any point where you thought things weren't moving as smoothly as they could have been, or did it seem really quick for you?
Pretty quick outside of the whole Twin Harp Golbez gamble, but outside of that, pretty quick.
Yeah, you had to figure other people would be making that gamble as well.
Perhaps. A lot of people are just not going to do harp, and in a vanilla food is definitely one of the slower checks. But with the hook, the hook pushes people towards there a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, like, I'm thinking, probably would have been the move just to do underground immediately. I mean, yeah, harp was there, and we know that fading heart would not have punished you. So that time spent in, I don't think you didn't spend time in Sifeskip other than just you already had the pan, you were and just doing the on the way checks, right?
I had full cleared Sylph earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
the only check that I didn't do before finding Moon Axis was Earth Crystal.
Yeah, I think that would have led to the Baron Key, which would have been a rabbit hole of more time wasted. So yeah, that looks.
I'm shocked that none of the moon traps had any key items.
Yeah, we don't know if a moon trap had the Baron Key, but yeah, it's possible that it did. But it really a lot of what you needed was on the blue planet, and Fu cleans up pretty well on the blue planet.
Yep.
So I guess my other question is, did you ever feel like you needed any physical help? We saw Val to start with, who and Golbez in Cave Magnus. Did you ever think maybe I wanted some physical help at one point?
I mean, for the moon bosses, a Zerker is generally better, especially with all the Power Shirt Zeus Gauntlet stuff, but for the Earth, can't remember whether or not you can just nuke Val at that spot. Actually, you're going to be fast enough, you'll get the nuke off before the spin, typically. So Val's not an issue there. And Golbez is not one of the fights at Twin Harp that's completely immune to nuke. I know Luge, just for whatever reason, is immune, along with Mega Sisters has one of them, and Val when spinning.
They're actually resistant to nuke at that spot. It might have been applied to the Shadow Dragon, maybe? I don't remember what the exact deal is. It's usually, it would usually be, I think he has almost max of magic defense.
Yeah.
But nuke is usually strong enough to cut through that pretty effectively.
Yep, Nuke and Bahamut, and I guess maybe Leviathan are the few things that can do magic at Twin Harp, which is... That could be a fun check if you have all mages.
without a foo, that would have been a disaster.
That's where you start bonking with a power stick and hope.
Very much so. Well, any last thoughts on the seed, Judge Joe? It was it must have been a lot of fun to just roll your way through it.
I always enjoyed the Fuario type flag set. Adding boss hunts was a different sort of experience, but they just sort of popped up real fast. So, lots of fun.
Well, GG's once again, Judge Joe, our second place finisher. Well done.
Thank you.
GG's again, Joe.
And while we were talking to Joe, a flurry of finishers came in. Commander Leonhardt finished in fourth place with a time of 1:01:41. Saradin finished in fifth place with a time of 1:01:57. Poydrak finished the race in sixth place with a time of 1:02:31. He rolled this particular seed. At least you can say he's not cheating. And we are joined by our fifth place finisher and right behind on stream, Saradin. GG's.
GG's. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. What were you thinking when you saw a Vanilla Foo start?
That definitely changed a lot. We also had just being Vanilla Foo makes it pretty quick to get everything done on the overworld. So just go around and get as many quick checks done as you can.
Yeah, and it paid off right away with the first boss in Baron Inn being a required boss. The boss hunts had the potential to be a little bit obnoxious, but they weren't too cruel tonight.
Yeah, they weren't bad at all. Them being there, the Pale Dim, trying to remember where they were. Ordeals?
King Queen Eblan on a required hook route.
Oh yeah, right.
So, what was the most fun part of that for you?
Getting to work with full powered Foo from the get-go is always a good time.
The MP glitch I noticed was on. Did you ever think that you might want to utilize the MP glitch and give Foo even more unlimited power?
I mean, this is certainly the seed where you want to do it. I just am not. I know it exists. I haven't practiced it, and this was not the time to figure it out.
Well, I mean, you had access to I think you wanted to sold the cat claws, right? So it's like you already had the money. You could buy all the ethers and elixirs you wanted to. So yeah, you have all the power. Why use the glitch when you don't need to?
It does make things a little bit faster to not need cabins in some locations. But yeah, it's definitely something I need to work on, get that one down.
Did you miss not seeing a Cecil in the seed when you got a crystal sword from defending football?
That was a bit disappointing. I was certainly hoping for one. There were two characters that we didn't get to see, because it was Distinct 7. So potentially there was one out there, but unless he was in Zot or Giant or something, it was that nobody was ever going to check. So.
Assume this is a very enjoyable jet seed, given what entailed.
Yeah, theoretically, if this was a one-on-one race, I probably wouldn't have gone to check Twin Harp. It was one of those, like, this is a large race. Let's do something that nobody else is going to do. And if it's right, then it's awesome. And if it's bad, then, if I don't do that, I might be in second instead of fifth. So it was a gamble.
Well, there was kind of sad bar noises because Golbez cuts off the music.
That's also true.
All right. Well, it certainly is nice to have an early night on a Sunday. Any final thoughts on this really enjoyable, fun Sunday Slapdash? Any final thoughts for us?
I don't think I've got anything. Thanks to the Restream team for putting this on. It's always a fun to get these reviewed, watch the VODs back.
Well, it was fun to watch you. Thank you so much, Saradin.
Thanks.
GG's against Saradin.
And do want to note that Tybalt came in 7th place. Let me get the time here real fast. Tybalt came in at 1:04:59, and Pyre finished the race in 8th place with a time of 1:09:09. GG's to everyone. That was a whole lot of fun. Deathlike, it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Thanks again to Dubword47 for tracking. Thanks to Smapedy for the restream.
Yeah, it was fun broadcasting again, and yeah, it was good. That was a good time. Everyone involved, everyone on the restreams. There's no nothing to show if there's no one playing it. So it's everyone, it's a community effort, really.
Yeah. Well, we're going to send you over to Slippery42, who's running the Seed of the Week. If you haven't finished last week's Seed of the Week, be aware he's running last week's Seed of the Week. The new one is going up tomorrow, so if you're still planning on running it, go ahead and duck out now. But for everybody else, come join us. We'll be rating Slippery42. And until next time, so long.
See you guys next seat, and good night. Please make sure to not reveal anything to streamers. Just let them watch the VODs when they get the chance. So, yep. See you guys later.